I radio the whole thing. And I am hauling ass, and I'm just watching the gas gauge needle drop. I get this. There's a channel on everybody's radio called Intercity. Intercity is a common channel that every agency is supposed to have
Right.
throughout the United States. You're supposed to be able to get Intercity and talk to anybody. And this voice comes over Intercity and says, "You Texas boys might want to back off." It's like, what? This is Captain So-and-so Alvarez of the New Mexico State Police. I'm telling you, boys, you might want to back off. I don't care if you do or not, but you might want to. And Sheriff went back off. And he cleared on I-40, cleared the New Mexico State line. And there were 12 troopers lined up on one side, and they shot the crap out of him.
Classic ambush.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were 12 troopers on the north side of I-40, and they must have put 200 rounds into that fire engine red Jaguar.
Hey, no crossfire. Well, folks, you caught the tail end of one of Ian's stories there.
Shit. Damn it.
It's Tuesday. It's not Monday, thankfully.
It is a wet and humid Tuesday.
Yeah. And Josh goes, wait, what? When was this?
What?
What year was that? 94
94 or 95.
94 or 95.
94, I think.
Hey, RK. Jesse. Yeah. Yeah. Ian's got a story or two about the old days.
Old days.
No, we're heading back into the Wild West now, though.
Which kind of brings me to what I know we're going to get into, so we'll start with it today, is Texas going constitutional carry.
Hoorah, hoorah.
Yeah. And I've read through the bill and parsed it as well as I can. I can't find any poison pills in it, but it does not obviate the need for an LTC, that's a license to carry, if you're going to other states that require a carry permit.
Or if you want to bypass NICS, like
Yeah.
I have to.
Yeah. Or you want to bypass the next test. And Josh says he was in the 4th grade.
Technically,
So
you're not bypassing it.
Well, no.
no, you've already
Yeah.
No, you are bypassing NICS, National Instant Check System. You are bypassing. You're just,
You've been done once, and they figured once
you've
is
had
enough.
a more comprehensive background check
Yeah.
for your LTC.
Right.
Yeah, RK, I would definitely keep your LTC current.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to.
I'm doing the same thing.
Well, my issue, the reason why I have an LTC is the last time before I got mine, I was standing in my favorite gun store in my full Class A uniform with fruit salad bar, whole 9 yards, the bright and shiny leather, and I was trying to buy something. I forget what I was trying to buy. And the gun store owner looks at me and said, "Ian, I'm sorry, but we've got a delay from NICS, and you have to come back in 3 days to get your gun."
You sure?
Nice uniform, by the way.
You sure it was a gun store that this is at, not Fredericks of Hollywood?
So every time, I'm pretty sure it's because I had a top secret clearance.
Oh, yeah, that's
So-
exactly why.
So every time I try to buy a gun without my LTC, I get the 3-day delay.
I bet you the second we started talking about expiration dates on your license to carry, 80% of the people listening pulled out their wallet.
Yeah.
and checked their-
Well, considering that you were one of them.
I'm not saying I wasn't part of that group. I am.
But it's great to be able to walk up, fill out the 4473, hand over your license to carry, walk out with a gun, instead of having to come back 3 to 5 days.
Now, the other thing that is rather interesting is is it people in Austin or San Antonio that are planning on suing?
Well, that idiot Democrat state Congress critter from San Antonio.
Yeah. Is going to sue the state over this.
Yeah.
And try to take it to the Supreme Court.
Good. 10th Amendment.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure. Well, he's got to get to the 5th Circuit first. And 5th Circuit is probably the most gun-friendly federal circuit in the United States.
Yeah.
I want to see it go to the Supreme Court.
Oh, I do too.
I want to see a 10th Amendment case hit the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court go, you know, you're right. The states are what have the power, not the federal government.
Well, you know what? If it gets there, Supreme Court will punt it back.
Yeah.
You know, Oh, they'll freeze to hear it.
Yeah, RK, you're right. Fifth will definitely uphold.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Sarah, this guy down in San Antonio is an idiot.
Well, he's a Democrat.
He is a hard left Democrat in the
Oh, he
Beto Aurora style.
yeah, he
Has
wants to be
Mr.
the male AOC.
Yeah.
Has Mr. O'Rourke chimed in about this yet?
Oh, he's
Oh.
actually considering
He's going to run against Abbott.
as governor of Texas. Well, no, he's being very kittenish about it.
No bullshit.
Well,
As soon as he said, "I'm thinking about it,"
Yeah.
that was the announcement.
Well, he said, I'm not thinking about it, but if anybody were to ask me, and the entire Democratic slate that was considered running for governor said, well, you need to, pardon my French, shit or get off the pot.
he needs to gauge his support in California, New York, and New Jersey first.
Exactly.
Because
Because
he's definitely not getting support here in the state.
let's say he lost against, he's a two-time loser.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He lost against Cruz for Senate.
Right.
Yeah.
He got smoke checked as far as his presidential run.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, Josh, this is a Democrat out of San Antonio that's going to sue Abbott over the constitutional carry.
Yep, because it endangers his constituents.
Our case is Robert Francis is not a beta, he's an omega. RK, really?
Ouch,
You had to go there, didn't you?
ouch.
Yeah.
Sarah Clitheroe goes third time's a charm.
Mm,
Yeah, he
the
ain't
thing
gonna
is,
win the third
He's
time
a
either.
two-time loser. He should have Hillary as his running mate.
Nope, you don't want to die when he loses.
Can we get rid of him on the three strikes principle?
Yeah, well, I mean that would be three strikes.
If he
For
runs
both of
against, if he runs against Hillary and loses,
Yeah.
she'll have him snuffed. So
Yeah. Jonas says, don't insult omegas.
Bill O'Rourke, he went on Beto until he decided to
Pander for the
good
Hispanic
work.
vote.
Yeah.
I think a lot more
Yeah.
force than that. Pander's a good work.
The other, yeah. The other thing I wanted to take a minute and talk about was the con this last weekend up in Raleigh, Durham. Nice little con. It's called Fantasy. And
This is his
it's,
second year running?
well, they've done it a year. They missed 20.
20.
So,
This is her second year running.
yeah, second year running.
they got a chance because you say fantasi.
Yeah.
And I hear infanticide.
No,
Well, that's
Fanta, Fantasci.
Yeah, that's because you're you.
And for those of you that go to some of the cons, imagine a mix of LTUE and LibertyCon crowd with an overlay of Four Horsemen Universe, which is Chris Kennedy and Mark Wandries. Small con, about 350 folks,
It won't be for much longer.
but good folks there. A lot of big names there. Tony Weisskopf came.
Well, that's in her AO, isn't it?
She had like a 20-minute drive from
Yeah,
her
exactly.
home.
That's her AO, isn't it?
Well, their home office for Bain is in Raleigh, yes. David Weaver was there. Larry Correa and his wife were there. Rob Hampson was there. Rob did something.
Speaker of Loud Animals.
Speaker did something rather neat.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Brent Roeder, who is known as Penguin, was one of his graduate students.
Oh, Lord. That poor guy.
Graduated from Wake Forest with his PhD in neuroscience.
Okay.
They had no graduation this year.
Oh.
So I'm wandering around Friday night. Notice there's this older lady in a wheelchair. It's like, she don't fit the profile of a con goer. And there's a younger lady with her. And I see Penguin go over to him a couple of times.
Okay.
So they're kind of sitting off in a corner. And I go over and speak to them. And come to find out,
Because you're Jim Curtis, you can talk to anybody.
Come to find out, it's Brett Roeder's mother and grandmother from California who flew in. And then Saturday afternoon, Dr. Hampson gets in his full regalia.
Oh, and gave him a,
Yep.
oh, outstanding.
And hooded him out in the
Oh, well
covered
done.
patio.
Well done.
Nice.
And made a nice little speech to the effect, I don't give a shit if Wake Forest does this or not. We're doing this. And he
God, I
fin-
love my crowd.
then he finishes up and goes, I'm going to go get out of this shit. It's hot.
God, I love my crowd.
Yeah, Bridget is good people. She is a hoot. And she actually managed to embarrass Larry, and I missed it.
Oh, wives can always embarrass their husbands.
Well, in a panel, the Karen feeding panel, and apparently she had him turning beet red. And I
hope
missed
somebody
it.
got video. Please, God, somebody got video.
Yep, that's exactly right, Jess. Had an interesting chat with Rob Hampson. We spent about 30 minutes Saturday morning trying to figure out where we actually connected the first time.
Because you're Jim Curtis, and that.
We finally figured out it's probably 2008 on the main bar.
Oh, okay.
So, because he said, he was sitting there looking at him, he goes, that says old NFO, but you're really J.O. Curtis, right? Yep. And he said, okay, got that one figured out. Now, yeah, because, well, it's a problem when you go to cons because you know people online by one name, at the cons by another name, and neither of those two can be their real name.
I don't consider that to be a problem.
Well, it's for us old farts that are trying to figure out who's who in the zoo.
Well, it's great to
Yeah.
be, Law Dog, but have my real name on my name tag.
Yeah.
And everybody says, go there, looking for Law Dog, and they walk right past me.
Yeah. Jonas
This
says
would
it
be
was
the
how
only
she
reason-
got him past his writer block. Oh.
This would be the only reason for me to go to a con.
Well, you'd go as Matilda, so
No, I would follow behind you
Oh, yeah.
with
so
a
you
big,
Yes,
with a
you
big flashing neon sign and an arrow that said "Log Dog."
yeah, you would.
I would.
That's one of the things about LibertyCon is that lasted about 2 LibertyCons.
Yeah.
And as soon as Ringo snatched me up, everybody knows who Law Dog is. And it's somebody did that last Paint LibertyCon. Anybody seen Law Dog? And it's like 40,000 people pointing my way.
Yeah. Well, I still think the funniest one was Larry out of you.
Oh, the first one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Midwest Chick says handles versus alias versus real names.
Uh-huh.
What's the difference between a handle and an alias?
alias tends to be more legal.
Yeah.
Tends to show up in fine print under wanted.
Yeah.
After AKA?
Yeah.
Well, it's because like Cajun, I have to put Cajun down as an alias anytime I do my FBI fingerprints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And Jonas,
Is that why what's his name has to do with tater salad?
Yes, it is.
yeah, John, we met for the first time in real life at LibertyCon. The
Who? Jonna?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That-
In
that was
Dorothy and Peter Grant's motel room.
when Dorothy spilled the ammo.
Yeah. Dumped ammo on it. Well, I didn't. That was y'all. The next year I met her up there while she was getting outside of a bottle of booze and
Yeah.
started telling stories.
Yeah, that was hilarious. So she's sitting there on the bed and Dorothy was digging for something in her purse. The ammo fell out. And Jonna looked at it and went, I'm among my people. Oh, yes, the fun things that happen at cons. Some of which stay at cons and some do not. There was also a very interesting panel with David Weber and DJ Butler that Dr. Hampson moderated.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And it was just the two of them. And it was a 2-hour long panel. But it was history, research, and reactions of people. And David Weber is a historian.
Oh, you can tell.
No, I mean, actually
No,
has taught as a historian.
anybody who's read one of his info dumps
Yeah.
recognizes a history professor right there.
Yeah, well, that's true too. But the conversation that went on, I mean, it was well worth and could have probably gone another hour or 2 hours.
Now, Rita and I decided we're gonna go to the next time. It's like,
Yeah.
that's going. Just based as soon as I told Rita, well, it looks like it's you take some folks from LTUE, you take some folks from Liberty Call, you throw them in the mixing bowl, and you sprinkle in some other military sci-fi nuts. And she said, "We're going."
Yeah.
All right.
And one of my beta readers lives there and took me out to a nice steak restaurant.
Raleigh Durham's got some good,
Yeah.
got some really nice restaurants in it.
Don't get started on restaurants. We'll spend the rest of the hour talking about food.
About food again.
Yeah.
Josh, yeah, info dumps are one thing, but David,
Have you ever read Dave Weber Orders a Pizza?
yes, if you have not, go look it up. It's on the internet.
Oh yeah. It's
David
all over
Weber Orders a Pizza. And that is a classic,
And I don't know who got inside Dave Weber's head to write that,
but it's true.
but it's exactly like Dave Weber writes.
Yeah.
Is it David or Dave Weaver?
David,
Weber Orders a
D-A-V-I-D.
Pizza.
But we had an interesting chat about Midway too, which
You-
reminds me.
You bring up the PBY with the
Yeah.
extra fuel.
And he was looking at me and went, I never heard that.
It's the first suggestion that comes up after you get the order.
And Jonna says, a new invasion of the troublemakers is afoot. Yes.
I don't know if this is an invasion so much as a beachhead.
Yeah.
I think you can't have an invasion of people who are already on your side.
Yeah. And it was funny because I met a couple of my readers there, and a couple of folks from the Dallas meetup when Larry and David came down to sign books
Right.
from what, 3 years ago now, 4 years
No,
ago?
I can't remember.
But they were sitting there looking at me going, I know you from
I
somewhere.
know that mustache.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was a good weekend. Travel
Sounds like
sucks.
Yeah. Well, how was masking through TSA and in Raleigh Durham and all?
Yeah. Really none at the airport here.
You know, it's itchy paw
Yeah.
municipal.
Dallas was, pretty much.
Itchy paw municipal contracts with the local city marshal.
Yeah.
For their TSA and airport security, and we know them.
Yeah. RK, the way I ended up here was friends, a base with a commissary, and 2 hours from family, and 2 hours from probably one of the better VA facilities, which is Oklahoma City.
2 hours from family was the big one.
Yeah.
2 hours means they don't show up unannounced, but you can still get there.
Yeah. I just have a bunch of other people that show up unannounced.
No kidding, right?
It is Texas after all.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's,
2 hours is just stretching legs.
yeah,
2 hours is good catfish.
Mhm.
Well, 45 minutes.
45 minutes. But,
It's really good catfish.
matter of fact, that was the subject of one of the conversations at the con.
Good catfish?
Well, among other things, but it's the distances. Anybody
Distance
that's
perception?
ever lived in Europe,
Oh my God.
Raptor, yes, it is. This is how David Weber orders a pizza. Yeah.
The writing style.
Yeah.
is
Oh, yeah.
Really David Weaver.
Yeah. But it's,
I said somebody got in his head.
the difference of the driving versus the perception of time.
Yeah.
Because
Distance versus time.
in Europe or in England,
You're,
people don't want to drive over a half an hour to get somewhere.
that's,
Plus-
that's a long trip.
That can be in another
Which is
country.
weird, because if you're in London,
Yeah.
you'll get on the tube for 2 hours to get to where you're going.
That's,
Yeah,
what,
but
that's
that's
why they
fine.
mean it by miles or kilometers
Yeah.
instead of time.
But
Yeah, getting
outside
in-
of London, if you're
It's like, oh, we haven't been to the seaside in years.
right,
It's England. The seaside is what, 34 minutes away?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
No matter where you are.
I drove down to where was it? I drove from Reading down to Brighton, and I was there before I was really settled into the drive.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, we haven't, it's just too far to drive. It's
Yeah.
34 minutes away, no matter where you are.
Everybody was like, "Oh, you're driving down to Brighton for the weekend?" I went, "No, just a day."
And I
Just
just
a day.
had, who from up north say she takes a umbrage at that because she calls before she shows up on the doorstep.
Which you know who from up north?
Amarillo.
Oh, ha.
Apparently she's hiding on here and lurking.
She doesn't, you know, the thing is, she doesn't need to call ahead.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah.
She had, this, folks.
Maybe that's the problem, is we're telling people they don't have to call ahead.
Well,
The majority of them don't anyway.
yeah, it's like, open invitation means show up.
Show up, yeah.
That's why.
I mean, hell, it wouldn't be the first time I've answered the door with a towel around me because of timing.
Wouldn't be the first time here.
Yeah.
This
This is true too.
is one of the reasons that I make a lot of soups and stews for the gathering, the weekly gathering, is because, and
You can stretch it with beans.
Yeah.
with-
yeah, if you're making chili, and I realize I'm gonna shock some folks, you can grab 3 or 4 cans of beans and stretch out that chili.
Yeah, I've said
Oh, yeah.
it before. It doesn't matter how Texas you are. When 8 people show up, unexpected for their beans in the
There's
chili.
beans in the chili, and he is correct.
Yeah, Koala says 2,500 miles from relatives is nice. Sarah says 30 hours, 1,600 miles. Yeah.
But
The other Sarah says water's always cold at the seaside in the UK. That's true
I ain't no lie.
because you do not get the benefits of the Gulf Stream.
And the Gulf Stream's on the outside of Ireland.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And my childhood was the Mediterranean, and sea. I was born in Malta. Spent a great deal of time in Malta. North and Northwest Africa. Sea. First time my folks took me to Brighton, I went running into that was a shock.
Mhm.
I like truck, Guam, 86 degrees, nice warm water.
Mediterranean.
The med is
the
not bad.
Pacific off the coast of California, though, is cold.
Oh, yeah.
It's got that Alaska current.
Well,
Yeah.
it's the K&O currents merge up off of Russia, which is where that one area of turbulence is every day, all day.
Mhm.
Becomes the Alaska current and then sweeps down California.
Bringing a lot of cold water with it.
Yeah,
Not only that, that's what the whales ride all the way down to Mexico to spawn.
Yeah.
that's like on the East Coast. It's the current's going up. It's going clockwise.
Yeah, well, it's the
So you get all that nice warm.
Yeah. Josh, y'all are more than welcome down here too.
Yeah.
what I want.
And Raptor goes, I'm in Pittsburgh. Where is this seaside you speak of? Yeah. Well, if you go north a bit, Raptor, you get lakeside.
Go south a bit and cut east. And you're good.
Yeah.
The really neat thing is if you catch the right wave in Florida, you can start on the west coast and then start on the east coast and then the west coast. On a surfboard.
Yeah. If you got, during a tropical storm or, if anything marked category 3, you can cross the entire peninsula.
It doesn't really have to be that. It just has to be a wave that's higher than 20 feet. Because I don't think there's anything taller than 20 feet in Florida.
Yeah,
Raptor says he wants to go back to Italy. Fantastic weather, beautiful terrain, best food in the world, hot cars, and hotter women. Yeah, you obviously were not down in Sicily with us.
The funny thing is Alitalia is world renowned for having the rudest
The rudest
people
staff.
work. Yeah.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
And they're proud of it.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
Well, with what they got to put up with,
I just think it's funny.
I had to ride Alitalia from Rome to Madrid. And we hadn't even started climbing out. I mean, we were off the ground, gear was up. And people were already getting up out of their seats, going up and raiding the flight attendant station for the wine bottles and the booze.
Well, it's a quick flight.
Yeah.
The last Alitalia flight that we were on, my brother was 6 or 7, maybe 8. And the stewardesses fell in love with him. And that was probably the best Alitalia flight anybody has ever taken, ever. Because you got this kid with these big green eyes and a shock of red hair and this shy, polite, and they just fell all over themselves.
Yeah.
There are stories of the counter staff at Alitalia in the middle of being harangued by somebody, just puts their phone down and walks away.
Yeah.
The mom and dad were really smart, and they used to have us, while they were packing to go back to Africa or come to the States, they would have Chris and I, give us a little carry on. We pack our own stuff, and they'd make us make checklists, and so we pack our own stuff. And my grandfather, uh, our 1 month a year here in North Texas, dear old granddad gave me a rubber snake, and it was a rubber snake from the Dallas Zoo, where he took me to Dallas Zoo. And at the time, they were really proud of their snake imitations.
They're anatomically correct in
That
more
was
ways
a
than one.
very good looking rattlesnake, complete with rattle. Well, I packed it because I like my snake. And some
Most guys
officious,
do.
in more ways than one. Some officious little blonde, this would be in the 70s,
Oh.
was customs agent, decided, she took one look at me and decided she was going through my carry-on bag.
This guy's too cute. He must be a fox.
This 9-year-old is too cute, obviously a terrorist.
I suspect he's a 45-year-old midget.
And reached in, the very first thing she pulled out was that rattlesnake. And she screamed like a little girl and then wanted to have me thrown out. And my dad, for one of the only times, lost his ever-loving mind. He didn't do that very often. And he called for the airport manager, and he got word. He showed up with a quickness. And my dad proceeded to tell him how to cow eat the cabbage, and we got escorted to the plane to make sure we didn't go back.
I don't care how they get out of this airport. Get them out of this airport.
This man was pissed.
The Raptor goes, didn't go to Sicily, went Florence, Rome, Naples. Yeah, Naples sucks. And Sorrento. Naples, I was in Naples.
We hang on a second.
Oh,
What's going on?
They just put a quote from Dr. Fauci saying he's, quote, not convinced the coronavirus is of, quote, natural origins, unquote.
The evidence is piling up.
yeah.
Well,
So now he's trying to get back on the other side of the curve.
it's not that. It's that a year ago, people were getting thrown off Facebook.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
shunned
Yeah.
for even suggesting.
News announcers were ridiculed
Yeah.
for suggesting.
Yeah,
And
they weren't the only ones.
And now they're going, well, there could be some truth now that we've gotten Orange Man Bad out of the office.
Yeah.
Mm,
Josh says, Ian's hate relationship with airport security started early.
oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my hate started back when.
I love the fact that when I said, because I used to, when I fly cargo, you fly one way a lot, which means you're automatically randomly selected for an enhanced screening.
Yeah.
And the lady was like, oh, we're going to put you through, you have your option to go through the porno scanner. She didn't call it that. Or a pat down. I said, I prefer the pat down. She goes, well, scanner's quicker. And I said, yeah, I don't need the radiation. I get enough of it flying as it is. And she goes, oh, it's not that kind of radiation. Honey.
Where is the MSDS sheet on it?
Yes.
And when you ask that, they get real touchy.
And first off, when's the last time it was calibrated? Because there's incidents of the TSA agent just turning the gain up.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because he couldn't. All that image is fuzzy. If you turn the gain up, it gets a lot sharper. Yeah, if you turn the gain up, the lady in the booth walks away glowing green.
Yeah.
It's just
Well, it's not just that. It's you've got TSA schmuck number 1 turns up a bit, and then it goes off ship. TSA schmuck number 2 goes, oh wait, and turns up a bit.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you're getting microwaves.
Yeah.
You're.
Oh look, I'm a hot pocket.
You walk in, then your feelings start rattling. You're like, this isn't right.
Oh wait, I've got to go to see the doctor and grab a magazine and a test tube.
It's not that kind of radiation, honey. It's penetrating you. It's ionizing radiation. That's how it works. It kicks electrons out.
I tried to go through with a dosimeter.
Oh no, because that thing will burn red right away.
Yeah. They were not letting me have that.
Really? I was just like, lady, I fly for a living. I get extra radiation anyways all the time. And she's like, no, it's not that kind of radiation.
The porno scanner and the enhanced pat down.
The-
Well, the reason that I get selected for enhanced security every time, probably because I have a mouth,
Yes.
and I had extreme difficulty in muzzling my feelings when I'm annoyed and stressed, and in airport.
I know, folks. He really needs to let it out more. He's going to
Yeah.
put himself an ulcer.
So I get selected for the enhanced patent. That's why I'm getting a TSA pre-screen, so I can bypass that crap.
Yeah.
Right.
Fauci claimed he was in touch with a scientist in China early on.
Oh, he was.
He was.
He was shipping
no,
them money.
The
Yeah.
best the best quote I heard today was they said we because the original SARS, the first SARS they traced back to bats.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they said so we combined with the local research facilities, which would have been China, to study the SARS virus, and we gave them funding, but we told them they could not use the funding to weaponize anything they
Pinky
found.
swear you won't weaponize
So,
it.
so because they were told not to, they didn't.
The whole friggin' research. The doctor specifically, the Chinese doctor specifically said in the abstract that it was funded by NIH for gain of function research.
Yes, but that's not making it into a weapon because we told them not to.
Even though the lab,
I know.
even though the lab in Wuhan has been developing bioweapons before.
Yeah.
But pinky swear this time we
Pinky swear.
didn't.
Yeah.
They told us not to.
So we didn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we're good boys.
Honest Indian, pinky swear.
The amount of,
Josh says, Firefly again, I'm wearing a kilt authentically and opting out of the scanner. Yep.
well, that's our friend Kelly Grayson,
Does that every time.
ambulance driver, tells a story. He's a real big proponent of kilting to kick cancer.
Yeah.
In September, he always wears a kilt to call attention to male-specific cancers.
And Koala says he's doing that by himself.
To call attention to male-specific cancers because people ask him about it, and that way he gets to talk about prostate and testicular cancer and all that. So he's going to the airport on his way to a con or a convention of some kind, EMS convention. He's a paramedic, and he's wearing his kilt. And much like the rest of us, they said, step 3, he said, no, I'm opting out. I'd rather have the pat down. They said, okay, sir. So they lead him in there, and the TSA agent says, well, how you doing? He said, I'm doing fine, but first off, take off those gloves, put on a fresh pair, because I see you pat down 3 people using the same gloves. And he says, no problem, no problem. He takes off the gloves, but I said, why the kilt? And Kelly says, well, he's called attention to male-specific cancers, prostate and testicular, need to get checked out. He said, oh, and how do you do it traditionally? And Kelly says, oh yeah, commando, baby.
I'm full Scots.
And the guy freezes, takes off the gloves, said, go on.
But it got to the point, every time I got a pat down, I would look at them and I go, when you reflect back on this, and you will, think of me kindly. And that kind of slows them down.
And we've got a discussion going on in the comments on Italian taxis, which are freaking nuts, especially in Naples. When they turn off the stoplights in town because nobody's obeying
nobody's
them.
listening to them. The last 2 times I've got the enhanced pat down, once I got done, I turned around and told them that if they were a jailer in my facility and did a pat down like that, I would have them retrained and or fired. That was a terrible pat down.
The funny thing about Italy is the roundabouts.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing funny about that.
They're not funny how funny they are. They well, obviously I did all my roundabout driving in England, so they go the opposite direction,
Right.
Yeah.
right? From how we think about it. But the right-of-way laws on the roundabouts is opposite.
It's also optional.
Right?
No. The right-of-way laws in Italy, period, driving, is if you look at the other driver, you just gave them the right-of-way, regardless of what they're doing.
Well,
It's not wrong.
it's just the guy entering the roundabout has the right-of-way
No,
versus the guy already in the roundabout.
no. If he looks at the other driver, he's giving up the right-of-way.
Yeah, well, I understand that's the unwritten law, but the way the laws in the books are written is opposite than how it should be.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
guy in the roundabout should have the right of way, but not in Italy.
No.
The guy entering
Right.
the roundabout has, which is why you've got 98-year-old guys that have been in the same roundabout for 97 years.
Yeah.
Trying to get out. It's
Yeah, it is. And Malta's the same way. You don't have to slow down going into the roundabout, but you have to slow down for anybody. So they're always backed up.
yes.
Sanford's now wanting a kilt.
511 makes really good tactical
Yep,
kills.
511 tactical kilt.
There's an outfit called Sport Kills,
Sport kills good too.
and they specialize in women's kilts.
There's
Micro kills.
also
They,
a company
they-
called Utilikilt.
utility
they
kills.
built, yeah.
Mock
The funny thing with 511 was that started as a joke.
April Fools.
Yes.
It was an April Fool's
And so
joke.
many people tried to order it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they went, "Oh shit, All right, fine. We'll make kilts.
Yeah, how hard is it? It's a piece of cloth about yay long,
Yeah.
about yay tall.
with pleats.
Yeah,
I
that's it.
ordered two. I mean, I went on there, ordered two, and I got, the response back. You realize this is April Fool's. And I went through the web page, so I found an actual email address because it was do not reply this email.
Yeah.
It was, you realize it's April Fool's. I don't care if it's April Fool's. I want one in black and one in green.
Yeah.
And about 6 weeks later, I had two kills.
Yeah. And Sarah Singleton says, I was told when we moved here that we just needed to make the other drivers and roundabouts were out to make like the other drivers and roundabouts were out to kill us and we'd be fine. Yep, that's pretty much driving in any roundabout in Europe, period.
You have to not care about how many dents are in the car.
You have to not care about your life.
Yes.
Well,
It's just
Just scream, it's a good day to die, and enter the roundabout.
yeah, it was like John has said. The cars in Italy, specifically in Naples, have no outside mirrors.
There's no reason.
And they've been scraped on both sides because you'll get in traffic and literally be rubbing with the car next to you.
Yeah.
It's like that Tom Cruise movie, Rubbing's Racing. No, rubbing is driving in Naples.
Yeah.
I swear to God, the Italian cab drivers, I think what they do is they come here to the States. They find the guys who lost at the demolition derby and make them become the cab drivers.
Well, it's not just the rubbing on the cars. It's folks, I've done some really off-wall things in my life, in my military career. And I was never so terrified walking down the back deck of C-130 at whatever 1,000 angels or feet as a Maltese driver going for an alley, a 5,000-year-old alley that was half an inch wider than the car at 35 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And he made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure we lost the door handle though.
Oh, yeah.
They do that in Italy all the time.
Oh, yeah.
They'll line up on a 9th century alley that is now a street that is, I swear to God, 6 inches wider than the car, and they'll barrel at it. Just
6 hell, try 3.
And those hamsters just giving all they can under the hood.
Yeah. Oh, Rafter says there's another company called USA Kilts.
Oh.
And a buddy of his works at.
Sport Kilts is a good entry level kilt.
Building Sports Kilt has all of the paraphernalia.
Well, they're fully customizable, and and the great thing about Sport Kilt and 511's Tactic Kilt is you can put them in the wash. A lot of other kilts need to be dry cleaned.
But you can get any tartan you want out of Sport Kilt, including your military tartans.
Yeah.
And yes,
and
apparently all the
tartans.
Yeah, all the U.S. militaries have their own tartans.
Yes.
I want to know if the Space Force has theirs yet.
I'd like to design the tartan.
Oh, did you hear about the colonel in the Space Force who got
booted?
Yes.
Cashiered for coming out against critical race theory.
Yep. And cashiered.
Sarah Singleton learned the truth of quote unquote one-way streets in Europe. I hope that's a one-way street. Oh shit, it's not.
But the sign said it's.
The question isn't is it one way? The question is which way.
Yeah. What time of day is it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Europe. I was introduced to the concept of it's one way depending on the time of day.
Yeah.
Which really just don't do that.
Well, or like in Sicily and Catania, chicken tunnel. Whoever got deepest first won.
Yeah. Which is why they're barreling at that alleyway that fast. Because the guy on that side, they're trying to cut off.
Yeah.
Well, that or the Vespas.
The best one was in Moscow. I was there for a meeting on a flight deck we were doing for Illusion, and the road we were on was 4-lane, and it squeezed down to a 2-lane.
Right.
Except the number of cars across were 8.
Yeah.
But they weren't squeezing down to 2; they were squeezing down to 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was done at highway speeds.
Oh yeah.
This is in Moscow.
Well, that's one of the things that really irritated me about Saudi and the Arab Emirates. If you were in a taxi, and I'm willing to bet Uber these days, and the idiot driver had a wreck, it was your fault.
Yep.
Because he wouldn't have gone there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that really just flew all over me.
No, we did. We're going into Kuwait down to Bahrain,
I'm sorry.
and got stuck overnight in Kuwait City. So made reservations at the Hilton down south of town. And they came and got us in an R8.
I was just thinking, I bet you Saudi and Kuwait are the only nations where you can call an Uber and get an F1 McLaren.
Yeah.
No kidding.
And the one time I looked, we were doing 190 clicks in traffic.
Well,
And he's just da 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 da, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
beeping his
Go.
horn, shaking his fist.
screaming
Yeah.
incoherently. Well,
Well, we made it to the hotel in less than 30 minutes, and it was right at about 60 kilometers.
Dubai was the only place I've ever been where the taxis were Mercedes.
Yeah. Oh, Mercedes taxis are all over Europe.
No, these were the good Mercedes.
The SL.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean the good Mercedes.
Well, that's why Luanda had these 1.5 2 foot tall curbs,
Oh yeah,
because that way you weren't
Keep them
getting
in the street.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you weren't
exactly.
getting 8 lanes of traffic, 8 cars of traffic in the street
So
lane.
that was one of the weirder things in Europe and America to me was the fact that the curbs were so damn low. Because in Africa, Middle East, the curbs are there to keep the damn taxi drivers on the street.
The best one is when you see that van sitting on its frame in the center grass,
Yeah.
Yes.
and
Where
his
it's
entire undercarriage is piled up in a little pile on the curb next to
Seen
it.
that more than once.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. Raptor says E-Class wagon taxi through Old Salzburg at night in the rain.
Whee!
Took a good hour for my sphincter to unpucker itself. Yeah.
Well, there's no streetlights because that would ruin the.
Yeah, they ruined the ambiance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going for a whole 15th century feel. Okay, well, put me in a horse-drawn carriage then, because I don't want to die.
Yeah.
I picked up a habit. I originally picked it up from my dad. I had it beaten into me later on. Of if I'm in a taxi, I'm either in the front seat or I'm directly behind the driver.
Yeah.
And I have adapted this to Uber. And we were at Provo, and Rita called over, and it's me, Rita, and somebody else. And Uber got there, and I immediately, it's like Rita said, let him sit behind the driver. He'll freak out if he can't sit behind the driver. And this other guy person's going, what? Rita said, don't worry about it. So we get to where we're going, and finally, the driver or the guy the guest we had said, I got to ask why do you have to sit behind the driver? I said, oh, it's something my dad. It's something, it's a habit I got from my dad. He said, so he can shoot the driver if he gets stupid.
Yeah.
Brain lock. So he can shoot the driver in case he gets stupid.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
you're not the only one with that response.
nope. Dad doesn't.
There's parts of Mexico that you want to do that, because
Oh yeah.
if he starts not taking you to where
Yeah.
you
Yes.
told him to go to, you shoot him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he's kidnapping you.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, it's all over Africa.
Yeah. It's
You're either sitting beside him, staring at him, or right behind him.
Yeah.
And you don't shoot through the seat, because if he has ill intentions, there's AR-500 backing in
Yeah.
the seat. You just pop in between the seat and the headrest.
Yeah.
At the
Oh,
first stop.
speaking of hijacking,
Uh-oh.
the president of Belarus hijacked an entire Ryanair
Oh,
airliner.
yeah. Have you read Nikki
Okay.
Kenyon's rant on that?
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Now,
Ooh, I love Nikki.
Okay. He's above a certain level where it stops being hijacked and starts becoming commandeered. It's like speeding tickets. If
Yeah.
you're above a celebrity level,
Well, that's
you're not getting a speeding
If-
ticket. You're getting a warning.
if it was a Belarusian airline, yes. But he's at the level where this is an act of war because
Yeah.
there's another country's airline.
Another country's airline redirected from its original point of landing in Lithuania to Minsk so he could get at one of the journalists
He wanted to snatch off a journalist who pissed him off.
which he did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
They boarded and frog marched a journalist who's on the
then,
smoke list.
Yeah.
then things like under the color of law start being used.
Piracy start being used.
No,
No, it's piracy.
It's air piracy.
Yeah. So now all the countries are going, yeah, okay. Our country's airline is no longer allowed to fly into Belarus or over
I would
Belarus
let right here. Oh.
or anywhere near Belarus.
And let's see, RT, whatever hell, the RT.com
Yeah.
gets quoted by a lot of libertarians because they're antagonistic to them.
Mhm.
Well, they came out in favor. Rah, go Belarus. And Nikki can do a rant.
Oh,
my
yes.
God, Nikki can do a rant. Woo, boy, can Nikki do a rant.
Yes.
And she uncorked.
Yeah.
It was a thing of beauty. It was corrosive as hell, but
Yeah.
a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
Don't read Nikki if you are faint of heart.
This is true. Nikki Kenyon. She
Love her to death.
she has a temper.
Well, she got a temper, but she
And when she gets
articulates
wound
it
up,
really well.
yeah, as Jesse says, she's amazing when she gets rolling. Yes.
Yes, and yeah, when no, there were a couple of times that we've been tag teamed on a troll on the Monster Hunter face page.
Yeah.
And Larry sits back and apparently eats popcorn when
Mhm.
it's the Ian and Nikki show.
Yeah. As
Okay.
Raptor says, a temper and very strong opinions regarding totalitarianism. Yes.
And can use the word fuck in
Yes.
every conceivable way.
Yes. As a noun,
Probably
an
described the
adjective,
entire
or
sentence with
verb.
just the word fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, she has. Yes. I think I dared her to do it one time, and she was like 30 seconds later, bing, there it is.
47
Yeah.
minutes, is that close to a record?
Oh no.
Oh, no.
We were
Oh,
cussing, but
we cussed
20
we-
minutes.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
cussed a long. Yeah, we
I think when you first started going off on TSA.
yeah,
now
probably.
the other one, which is the opposite of that, is shoveling kids in the middle of the night. When I brought that up to some of the folks at the con who happen to be from around Chattanooga,
Shoveling kids in?
oh yeah,
What are you talking about?
HHS, PAH. The ficus in chief has HHS shoveling people into Chattanooga in the middle of the night on airplanes.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yes. This is all part of the, we don't have kids in custody anymore. We see the
Yeah.
DPS or the border camps are
Because
empty.
we put them on a C-130 and dropped them off in Chattanooga.
No, we switched tents.
Yeah.
This tent has HSS above it, so
Yeah.
Gotcha.
therefore they're not in border protection custody.
In
The numbers
Texas,
are dropping.
they're
Oh.
under Human Services in Tennessee.
Well,
Yeah, Cedar says we cussed to start with.
I mean,
Oops,
You gotta-
sorry, folks.
you got to remember, at least he hasn't done what
Damn it.
Barack did, which was bust them to conservative
Oh yeah.
and low
I
cap.
don't know. Chattanooga's pretty conservative.
Yeah, they're very conservative.
I honestly, I've gotten to the point where if it's a city above
Yeah.
200,000 people, I automatically assume it's run by Democrats. and liberals.
That's actually not a bad assumption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in this case, I think Chattanooga's pretty conservative.
Okay.
Yep.
I do remember Chattanooga's in Tennessee, and
Yeah.
when I stayed there, we used to drive across the border to Georgia because gas was at least 15 cents a gallon cheaper because of taxes.
Wouldn't surprise me.
So
Tennessee is actually on my list of retirement places because gun laws are pretty good.
Yeah, the only problem is they tax government retirement, so that let it out for me.
Yeah, it's one of the things that knocks off my list too.
And the other thing is it's
I like
east of the Mississippi.
Yeah, I like Texas.
what's
Yep.
wrong with eastern Mississippi?
It's just there's too much stupid east
Yeah.
of Mississippi.
You want to be west of the Mississippi when everything goes up.
It's
Plus,
Okay.
out here you can see what's coming.
That's true.
You
Cool,
get back
man.
in Tennessee,
And,
you
it's
can't
too hilly
see-
and
oh
yeah.
look, it's kudzu.
Yeah.
Everywhere you look. Look, there's a battalion of Chinese Marines hiding in the kudzu.
stuff grows 60 feet a year.
I used to have a portfolio of kudzu jokes. I don't know why.
So-
Yeah.
what environmental pressures would create the need for a plant to grow that fast.
They were using it for cattle feed.
That one-
There is a bug. There's a bug that comes from
Yeah,
somewhere.
because you gotta remember, the plant has to evolve to do this.
Yeah, there's a bug that apparently eats only kudzu, and there's a lot of
Or it's not from this planet.
That's actually not
It's
a
an
bad
alien plant trying to take over the planet, and
It
we're
was-
helping it.
Yeah,
It was originally planted out there
Yeah.
for cattle feed
Oh yeah, yeah. I know.
until they
And-
found out that the cattle won't eat it either.
Right.
It's cattle feed and ornamental, much
Yeah.
like the Bradford fucking pear.
Yeah.
And now,
Rafter says that's why the 30-30 is so popular east of Mississippi. After 200 yards, it's extra long range out here.
Yeah. What's the best fertilizer for kudzu? 5W30.
Yeah.
What's the best way to plant kudzu? Drop it and run like hell.
Worse than mesquite.
Oh, you're
I
not
think it's an alien plant since it take over the planet.
You're probably not far wrong.
Yeah. And Jim's going coast to coast again. Yep.
What?
Josh is keeping track of Jim going coast to coast.
Coast to coast.
I have good solid logic backing up all of my theories.
Oh, conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Who's that? Alex Jones.
Yeah.
So you're saying Alex Jones is what you're telling us.
Yeah.
Oh God, no.
Not saying.
No, I'm not saying. Alex Jones is just crazier than my crazy.
Yeah. Sanford, Georgia, and North Carolina and South Carolina also have kudzu.
Oh God,
And
no,
it's taken over a town or two down there.
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's completely.
Yeah.
It's not just. There's more states involved now.
Oh yeah.
too.
Well, there's gonna be because you can't get stuff stopped growing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
And Rafter says, kudzu is why the good Lord gave us napalm and flaming waffers.
yeah.
No. What we do is we attack it with our own version. We hit it with rhubarb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Because rhubarb won't stop growing. If you drop it, it's going to grow there. It's
Oh, so the battle between the
right. So
okay.
eventually you'll have
Something
one
will come out
hemisphere
on
of
top.
kudzu and one hemisphere of.
Something will come out on top.
Plus, rhubarb goes in any pot.
Well, mesquite is. Folks will understand that up here where we are in North Texas, mesquite's an invasive species, and mesquite is nasty.
Yeah.
It's great for smoking your food, but as far as a plant, mesquite is bloody nasty.
I think it was a 90-foot taproot.
They
Yeah.
think 90, but they swear they dug down 200 feet and found there's a cave down around Austin. If you look up, there's roots sticking through the roof, and it's I think 198 feet down.
Yeah.
And they say we can't swear that's mesquite, but that's a root.
RK says she will work for the son of the guy who brought in kudzu in the 30s for erosion control.
Y'all hung him from the nearest lamppost, right?
Well, it does control erosion.
That's because you can't see it under all the kudzu.
Yeah. And I hate to disabuse you, Cedar, but it does grow in deep woods and it will kill the entire woodlot.
What's that?
Kudzu.
Oh,
I've seen it do it.
when we were driving in, we saw trees that were strangled by kudzu.
Yeah.
But mesquite is a water hog.
Yeah.
And A&M did a study, several years back, maybe even a decade. A lot of places in Texas, the streams aren't running anymore.
Yeah.
And they took a county or two counties and a crap ton of money, and they killed every mesquite and every salt cedar that they could find in there.
Yeah.
Within a month of eradicating the mesquite and salt cedar, the streams start floating.
Yep.
Salt cedar, they drink. I mean, they will lock up all your water.
Cedar, you said he brought kudzu in the 30s.
Yeah.
That was about the time George Washington Carver was trying to get them to rotate crops because cotton will leach the soil dry, and he was using peanuts.
Right.
To
fix nitrogen. wasn't it?
yeah. I wonder if that wasn't part of why they brought kudzu in because yeah, I understand erosion's a problem. It's not as much of a problem as like it is in Oklahoma where it just
But
blows away.
it was also brought in for cattle feed.
Yeah.
Well, it's multi-use. They probably bought it just all of the above. Look, it's kudzu.
Yeah.
It'll control erosion, re-inject nitrogen into the soil, and feed the cattle. That's
Yeah.
how they convince people to plant it. And people played it and went, what the hell? As everything went green all of a sudden.
No,
Cedar, I don't know where you got that study of kudzu in the woods, but I'm going to tell you, you go down to South Carolina, Georgia, and there are entire woodlots that are dead on a doornail because of the kudzu.
they're still green.
Yeah, it's
That's because they're
kudzu.
covered, they're covered in kudzu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the entire woodlot,
Yeah, the trees are dead.
trees are all dead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I'm
Green
talking
Yeah.
3-4 foot around oak trees.
so they
Rita and I
can't get light.
Yeah.
drove into we drove into Tennessee, into Chattanooga last week, and there were several we passed by, and the trees were just strangled.
Yeah.
I mean, it was scary. I mean, it's a giant kudzu pop, and
It's
somewhere
not
there's a tree.
strangled, it's smothered. So
Somewhere there's a tree, and so I got out to go take a look because me, and that tree under the kudzu was dead around.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same reason we have wild hogs in Texas.
Because idiots.
yeah. Well, it's pick your poison. You've got the wild hogs, you got wisteria, invasive wisterias,
Water hyacinth.
you got water hyacinth, you got
Somebody
politics.
else's good idea.
Yeah. You got Bradford pears.
Bradford pears. I know somebody else's good idea.
Yeah.
Prairie dog parks.
No kidding, right?
Yeah. Prairie dog parks.
Have we wrecked on the prairie dog park in Wichita Falls? yet?
Okay. The Kiwanis Park in Wichita Falls, for some reason, decided to import a couple of cute little prairie dogs.
Just a couple.
Just a couple.
I think the zoologist, wherever they got them from, said breeding pair, but that went over their heads.
No, they giggled as they handed over the prairie dogs.
Yes.
So you got this park, and they built this little prairie dog enclosure. There's this little waist high
It's a bar fence, so it's just tubes. And it's
a
not
pipe fence.
yes, it's not like a fence to keep anything in or out because you can step over it,
Oh, yeah.
or if you're a groundhog, or a prairie dog, you can just walk right underneath it.
Or dig under it, or
Yeah.
And so I'll be damned. Before you turn around twice, there are prairie dog holes everywhere outside the prairie dog enclosure.
There are prairie dog holes across the street in
The
the
graveyard.
graveyard. Yes, that's the best part.
That's where I was getting. Is one of the older graveyards in town is across Southwest Parkway.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I stood up at a city council meeting and said, the first time a prairie dog pops up wearing great grandma's wedding dress,
Yeah.
you're not having more prairie dogs.
Yeah.
Guess what? Oh, and those are some of the fattest prairie dogs.
They will stare at you. You know how normally if you're within 100 yards of a prairie dog, it's gone, right? No, you'll walk up to the fence and sit on the fence and walk on the other side of the fence. The prairie dog is still staring at you because he's too fucking fat to move.
Well, not only that, but he wants his French fries.
Yeah.
Because you see French fries scattered everywhere
Yeah.
because the prairie dogs are too full to eat any more French fries.
Oh, that one's 6 inches away. I'm not gonna be able to get to it.
Yeah, I can't roll
You know
over.
all those stories you heard about the giant crocodiles in
Yeah.
New York sewers?
I swear to God, man,
Josh says a good one. Says kudzu versus mesquite. Who will win?
I might have to give the edge to kudzu.
Yeah. Bradford pears smell like dog crap when blooming. Yeah.
Well, not only
And-
that, but they destroy all of the
They will,
fruiting pears.
they will
But they
cross pollinate with any producing pears and kill every pear tree around
Mhm.
Well, it's,
for producing any kind of
But they
fruit.
look cool.
they look
Look
cool,
pretty,
and they
yeah.
don't drop fruit. So when they cross pollinate the fruiting one doesn't drop any fruit.
Sanford wants
I
to do
love pears.
pay-per-view on kudzu versus mesquite.
Ding ding, round one. But these prairie dogs, I swear to God, are 15 pounds.
Yeah.
Easily. I mean, easily. No, they're gonna be more than 15
I told Jim about prairie, and he said, "No way, nobody did
Yeah,
that
Nobody's
stupid."
that stupid.
So I took him.
Yeah.
He gets out of the car or the pickup, and he's standing there. He's just staring. I said, "What?" He said, "That's not a prairie dog." I said, "Yeah, it is." He said, "No, that's a woodchuck,
Yeah,
which is now 30 pounds." I said, "No, buddy, that's a prairie
I mean,
dog."
these guys are easy 3-4 feet long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, it's,
And I want to get out there with a silenced Ruger Mark IV and start laying waste to prairie dogs. But
We
I'm
can
not-
do that.
Well, I'm not sure a 22 is big enough.
not for those guys. I'm thinking the size of those guys, I'm taking the 308.
Yeah, no kidding.
The bad part was you saw the one that had stolen the electric cart from the grocery store was tooling around in
Yeah.
it because he couldn't move any other way.
Yeah, my 13-pound dachshund I don't think could take one of those prairie dogs.
No, one of the
Oh,
one of the
Sanford,
reps-
no, we're not going to do a hunting story anthology. Forget it. Stop bringing it up.
I'm convinced that all the raptors in the area will not attack them because they just couldn't look.
Well, they can't get off the ground with them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'd be
It's
flapping
not,
away.
it's not that, but when they hit them, the predator turns over and beats the crap out of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's-
And then kicks their feathery butts back over the bar fence.
or are you bringing it, little man? And that's the end of it. You know.
And on that note, folks, we've wasted another hour of your time.
Raptor gets used like a prison bitch and then thrown back over the fence.
Beating like a redheaded stepchild.
Oh, God.
Bent over that rock in the middle of the enclosure.
We'll be
Back
back
the
on.
pillow, Bertie.
We'll be back on Thursday with another round of this, whatever this is.
We never go the way through.
We violate every principle.
Every
doing-
time he shows up with this page full list of things to talk about, and we'll get two.
We'll get to
We violate every principle of doing this.
Yeah, a podcast.
Yeah. I sat on a panel and found out how badly we really violate it. Not that anybody gives a shit.
We're
But
not going to change.
yeah, no.
No.
Sorry,
Oh.
sorry, folks. This is what
And
you
more
get.
and more people tune in every time.
No kidding. Right?
What you see is what you get. Remember, folks, remember, don't sweat the petty stuff. Don't pet the sweaty stuff. Be safe,
Be safe,
and
guys.
have a good week. Bye.
Truthfully.